What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound, and I did release a new song recently called Run, so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. Okay, guys, let's talk about DEC. In fact, let me scroll down here a little bit so that you can see exactly what I'm looking at. Well, first of all, we are well below peg. I mean, we're at 68% of peg, so this is not great, but again, all of crypto is suffering right now except for Bitcoin, which is still flirting with new all-time highs in the 100K range. So this is very much a Bitcoin bull run so far. We'll have to wait and see if that actually plays out for the rest of the cycle. But let's take a look at DEC here. And I have no idea what's going on with this. My guess is that it's more so like a reporting issue as the team is going through and tweaking things in the back end and how they represent the data. But what we do know is that at least in the team accounts, what they're currently holding is 121 million DEC, which at the rate of, but at the rate of like dispersing 40 million per week. And again, that number might be old now, but we have seen it. Everything is still tracking, right, for it to be about 40 million per week, which would give us 3 weeks of supply that the company is holding on, which I'm recording this on February 5th. So that would put us in like the week of February 26th, where the company would run out of DEC. Now, they may run out sooner than that, maybe a little bit afterwards, but it would be around that time in which they would probably need to go to the market and start buying DEC. So the question then becomes, well, okay, how much DEC is there out there? Okay, so this is something Bulldog's called out many times, so give a shout out to him real quick. I mean, players are holding 1 billion DEC, and you got almost another 300 million that's sitting in markets and pools. So here's what happens. The team is going to go through and start buying DEC from these markets and pools, right? So that this is going to start to go down, but that actually pushes the price of DEC higher, at which point when will players start to sell that DEC back into the pools for a higher price, right? So this is something where, again, this is not financial advice, but this is definitely a trade I've played many times, and I know many others have played, where it's just, if you think DEC is going to go up like 10%, 15%, right? It only needs to go like from here. If you load up on DEC at 0.68, right, it only needs to go up to what, 70 something cents, like mid 70s, for you to get like a 10% return. And there's almost like a time frame in which you know that's going to happen. Now, again, 10%, that might be a lot for some people. That might not be a lot for some people. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying there are traders of all different flavors out there. Oh, that rhymes. I did not intend that, but I'll take it. So, there's traders of all different flavors out there that will choose to engage in that, and we could start to see then the decline of player held DEC. Now, the question becomes, why are these players holding DEC? What could it be? If it's something long-term, like they're accumulating for Conclave Arcana, for example, well, then they're not going to part with it, right? Because they got it for relatively cheap. If they're holding it for land for whatever reason, then, again, they're probably not going to part with it. But I do think that there's a lot of DEC out there that is held by players that are trying to make this trade. So even though there's only 3 weeks of this left, we could still see a decent amount of DEC supply that needs to be eaten through in order to start getting DEC back closer to peg. But the good thing is that the moment the team runs out, they start buying, and they start buying in relatively high quantities, because if they need to service the back end credits and they're going through 40 million DEC right now, I mean, imagine $40,000. Well, it's not really $40,000 because we're not a peg, but imagine 40 million DEC worth of volume from the team alone, right? Just trying to scoop that up on a relatively, consistent basis. We'll say like every week or so. That's not an insignificant amount. And especially if, we'll have to see how the players that are holding and trying to make that trade decide to sell into that, right? It's like, maybe they hold off until we get into the 850 range, right? Maybe they hold off until we get to the 900 range, or maybe we just go up to the 750 range and they're like, that's enough profit for me, I'm going to dump this back down, right? At which point it actually becomes cheaper than for the team to go in and buy more. But that's kind of besides the point. Now, tangentially related to this, and this is why I'm so big on survival mode, and why I would love for survival mode to come out in February before we run out of the company DEC, or the company runs out of DEC, is because there is still a large number of cards that can be burned, specifically the Chaos Legion reward cards. And what my hope is if we have survival mode out and ready, then we will see the floor prices of the cards start to rise, as well as the rental prices of the cards. And so if you give these cards actual utility because people are using them in game, right? And survival mode gives all of the extra cards additional utility, especially if they're going for super cheap on the rental market or on the sales market, right? At that point, it would not, like, the people holding these cards would not be incentivized to burn it for DEC because you could probably sell it or rent it and it would have that utility, which means we could actually stop, or I'm sorry about that, guys. We could actually stop DEC inflation at that point, right? Rather than just having the cards continue. And I know that it's only like a finite amount of cards that are out there, but it's still a significant amount of DEC that we would have to eat through. And I know we saw one of the bigger whales burn through a lot of their stuff, but there's still way many cards out there. There's still a ton of cards out there. So my hope is that we start to see some moves made over the next couple of weeks here, whether it is, the players starting to sell into that, the team starting to buy into it. We start to see DEC floating back up into or closer to its peg. I don't think that we're going to hit the SPS flywheel in 3 weeks because there's still a lot of DEC to eat through. But what we'll have to start tracking as well, and I haven't really been great about this, but maybe I can start to do it, is how many reward cards are out there to be burned, right? And it really is not just reward cards. You could probably include Chaos Legion Core, although, I don't know how many Chaos Legion Core cards are trading below their burn value. So hopefully, if we do get this in the next couple of weeks, sorry, when I say this, if we get several things, if we get survival mode in the next couple of weeks, and again, I know I'm setting myself up for disappointment here, but we had a 2.4 release. The next release should be 2/18, right? February 18th. And if we're not going to run out of DEC until, we'll call it the week of the 26th, that gives you like a week or so of survival mode really coming in and hopefully making a splash and an immediate significant impact on the card market overall that would disincentivize people from just burning their cards and, taking the profit in DEC and essentially adding more to the DEC supply. So lots of moving pieces here. I think February will still be an exciting month for, just the game economy to see what happens. But obviously, we need deliveries in the game in order to actually start to move this thing forward. So that is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I will catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.